Well, our environment is a chemical plant, and we're actually owned, globally. So our corporate information management out of the Netherlands, they have a good, system in place, but it's BlackBerry Enterprise Server, or BES. And it's nice in the fact that, when one device dies or you lose it or it gets stolen, they can reload it. Your screen, your settings, everything is identical. So it's all backed up, and that's nice. But we're still on BlackBerry, and I know a Droid-based phone is probably better. And I haven't really used Droid, but my wife uses iPhone, and some divisions in our company are allowing iPhones now. Ours isn't yet, as far as the United States and our division. But I hate BlackBerry. If we can tell from the chest. Yeah, I mean, the phones, it seems like finally in this last year that they've kind of come up as close to an iPhone or a Droid as possible with the full touch screen. And then I've got the 9930 Bold, which is a combination keyboard and a touch screen. And they work pretty decent, but they've been frustrating to me the whole time we've used them. 70,000 employees, I don't know how many all have, actual BlackBerries. It's usually, administrative people. Pretty much everybody has a BlackBerry, or managers, but they're frustrating to use, and then they lock up, they're slow. So it's kind of like a ray of hope that we're going to be getting iPhones, and they are talking about getting Droids now since the security's improved as far as that. So yeah, hopefully we'll transition to something else.
So right now, all your devices are corporate liable devices. Do you allow any personal liable devices at all?
I don't know the iPhone people. I'm not sure if some of them are personally owned. I just know the BlackBerry environment. It's really strict. Their firewall, it blocks you. And the same one if you're on the internet at work or your phone, the firewall filter is the same. So but I mean, it is good in the sense that it is secure, and they back up the devices, but it's really restricted.
And that comes down to the culture of your company. How risk adverse is your company? We're a privately owned company, 4th generation, family owned, that has a very conservative approach. Maintain a very strong balance sheet, very low debt, so that we can weather a recession, 08, 09, those types of things. But with that conservative culture, it's harder to move to an iPhone or an Android platform, or to allow personal devices, because it's not a technical decision. It's what is the CEO, the COO, what level of risk are they willing to accept? So when we started getting requests, we have a new COO within the last couple of years, and he's starting to push things more cutting edge with devices. Hey, the iPad 3 came out, we want to use this, as a sales tool or whatever. And so now it's, okay, we can do that. We can allow that, but here's different ways that we can do it. You can do it through a Citrix receiver and come into our our virtual environment, run a published desktop, published applications, but then you're running a Windows app on a tablet. And I was at a session in Dayton probably last fall, and the guy's saying, hey, he had a Samsung, tablet, he had his iPad, and he's saying, yeah, the users, they don't want this interface, they want the Windows interface. And I was like, what users are you talking to? Because my users, we put that out there, put it in their hands, and they went, it's a Windows interface. It doesn't work well with the touch screen. I want to use the native applications. They're designed for that touch screen. Trying to run Windows, on a Kindle Fire or an iPad screen, very difficult. I don't know if any of you have tried it, but it's gotten better with the last couple of releases. But closing windows, expanding, minimizing, it's extremely difficult. So he's pushing us in that direction. We're saying, yeah, technically we can do it, but can we do it in a way that meets the business needs? And that's the hard part for us. Or It's hard part for us if we maintain the same level of security that we've had in the past. So we basically, rather than IT making that decision, we've taken on the role of more of an educator, and they're making the recommendation of what we'd like to see from a security standpoint or from a technology standpoint. But ultimately, if the business says, yes, I'm willing to accept that amount of risk, we'll move forward with that solution. So we presented the ActiveSync Mobile Iron, Good Mobile Messaging, and basically the pros and cons of each one, the costs, the security risks, and they looked at it and said, yeah, we're not willing to pay for this, but we don't want to be wide open, so we're going to go somewhere in the middle. And so we're willing to accept some risk, but not all the risk that we could to say, so it's a trade-off. Who makes that decision in your company? Is that an IT decision? Is the CO or the CIO or the VP of IT saying, yep, this is what it's going to be, and that's it? Is it the COO, the CEO? Is it more divisional?
Primarily, it's at the University of Northwestern Ohio. It's VP for IT makes those decisions, and then they make the proposal, and the president signs off on that. But the VP is the one who does all the legwork and makes the recommendation. Typically, it's one recommendation. Here's what we should do, because in most cases, the senior executive, being the president in this case, doesn't really want to know about the details. He delegates well and trusts his team. It's primarily at the VP level.
And that's very similar. We presented 3 alternatives and said, we recommend good mobile messaging. It meets the business needs. It gives us the security we're looking for. But our COO is fairly tech savvy. So he said, yeah, but I like this, and this, and I'm willing to give up some of those security features that you're showing me over here, to go to this, and we'll save a little bit of money as well. Hey, but the same thing, I want that COO or that CEO's signature that says, yes, I'm signing off, I understand, what those risks are. So much more of an education. You're making a single recommendation, but it's not the VP that's putting his name on the line. It's the COO or the president. How's that working at other companies? Does that IT make those decisions? Anybody else? Yeah, I'm seeing some head nods.
Our CEO kind of drives a lot of our technology. He's a bit older than techie himself, but he thinks himself as such. And he will see something. It's like, well, what can we do? He'll come to me, as the head of IT, and saying, can we do this without breaking our systems? Can we do this without exposing ourselves to risk? And I'll throw ideas at him, and then ultimately we'll come up with something. But it's sort of a miniature version of your process.
Yep. So, but he's involved in that process.
Yes,
he's ultimately saying, yeah, I'm willing to accept that level of risk associated with it.
It's like I said, mini version of what you're doing. So.
Any other, what other risks do you guys see that prevent you? Because not everyone's moved to allowing personal liable devices. Is it a risk factor? Is it a support and administration? Is it budget?
I guess I'm just trying to understand a little bit about the audience, or what we have going on from different types of businesses, because certainly there's infrastructures that require everybody to have some type of device, mobile device. Part of me is trying to understand is, I've got a company where every employee does not need a mobile device. Just because they have a smartphone personally, they don't necessarily need access to our network with that device. Something like that. So just hearing a few different conversations, is everybody here looking to get everybody connected with a wireless device? I mean, I know the last session we talked about, kindergartners who come to school with free wireless devices, and of course I was the guy that questioned, why are we building better security around the devices that kindergartners bring in versus why you let them bring it all? But we keep a separate wireless network that has nothing to do with our corporate network for people that want to do personal devices. I want to bring my iPad home, come sit and break at lunch, and play Facebook. It's not on our network. It everybody here, does everybody have a smart device for every employee in the company? Or what are we talking about?
Work for a hospital, and we have like managers and other staff will access through those smartphones, mainly their email, and that actually benefits the hospital quite a bit because they're checking their mail all the time at home and everything.
And I agree with that from a messaging standpoint. I wish everybody was as responsive as my team was on their emails, and if they've got it on their smart device, great, but I don't have a whole lot of other mobile applications where they need to be able to VPN in or anything. If they can do it on, a public internet and, have some kind of security to go back to, get to the Exchange server or Google Mail or whatever they're doing, is that good enough?
We also allow Citrix Gateway, or coming in through the Citrix receivers on the phones. Like I can go in, basically do anything on Citrix as on here. It is, like you said, quite a bit cumbersome to navigate.
It's a last resort thing, though, if you have to.
Like I can go in, somebody calls up, hey, my AD account's locked out. I can, at the campground, just sign in and unlock their account. But it is quite cumbersome. We do have some physicians that will get into our HIS system, our hospital system, just to check on something with their iPad or whatever they have.
The things they wouldn't traditionally look at before they had a smart device.
Correct, yeah. I mean, if they're, I have some that'll sit in the cafeteria and they're eating on their device. Normally don't provide